Hello, board members and the Troy community. A few different things for this upcoming board meeting that will take place on Thursday, April 13th at 6 o'clock. It's a little bit different time, but this is when our board members could get together for this meeting. A few different things to review as we prepare for this board meeting. In the administrative report, we had one resignation, Amber Young, and wish her on her way. We're going to miss her and hope that she comes back at some point. You can read through her letter of resignation here. A lot of people that we wanted to recognize for their great work and support that they've provided to our district over the last month, and for some people even longer than that. Our next family fun night is May 25th. Board members, if you're able to, you're welcome to come have lunch at the high school on April 17th. I will probably ask each one of you if you're able to make it, because I don't want to set something up if no one's able to make it that day. A lot of good things going on at the elementary school and the junior high. I'll let you read through. Our maintenance and transportation has been very busy in getting the baseball field set up, especially working around the weather. District-wide, we have a few different things to report on. We have a draft professional development schedule for next year. You're welcome to look at that and give us any feedback. And then also the city of Troy has a permit for us to review. They drafted something up. Our attorneys are looking at this and making some adjustments on this. This is for the area on the east side of the elementary school where we put in sidewalk and grass a couple years ago. We were in communication with the city, with the city transport maintenance director, but the city council at this point wants to put something formally down, because what is in that area is the alleyway. So there is sewer and water and electricity, and they want to just make sure that we're aware if something does happen with the sewer system that we would be paying to replace that sidewalk and any other landscaping that is done there. We did have a drug dog visit at the high school. It all went well during that time. ChatGPT is a new program that I would encourage board members to become very well aware of this. These are some thoughts from our state tech group to learn more about what ChatGPT is. It's very powerful, but with anything that's powerful comes some struggles that we will have to put in place, some things that we'll have to put in place to combat the struggles that might come with it. So right now it's currently blocked for all Troy students. I've used it for myself a little bit, and it is a powerful tool. It's an artificial intelligence program. So review a little bit more about that. It'll be coming up more and more in society in the world, and in our schools and our community. I would encourage everyone to get in and look at our test results, our report card for the state, for the district, and then you can look at both schools also. And then also just wanted to report on the T-ball equipment. This has been going on, just trying to get this nailed down and get the equipment purchased for the T-ball equipment. This is something that goes back well before many of our times, but this was kind of a gentleman's agreement when the activity center was built that we would provide a T-ball field. Well, in speaking with Troy Parks and Rec, you'll remember that they wanted us just to purchase some equipment for them. So we're trying to put this to bed, have some equipment for them, and we'll move from there. In our last board meeting, we talked about the safe routes to school, and there were a lot of different recommendations. I sent those recommendations back to the team and the engineer. There's some thoughts, ideas on this, especially with lighting and moving some of the routes to a different street. And we're trying to make some of those modifications. We can't, but for all of them, but for some of them, we're able to. Another thing we've been Turning Winds has talked to us. They've confronted us about, not confronted us, but has asked us about enrolling students in the high school in the future. They're going to be building a facility at the bottom of the Yak. And we've been talking to them about the students, if they are going to be residents. We've been talking to the Office of Public Instruction, our attorneys. We've even spoken with a former superintendent in Thompson Falls, because Thompson Falls has a lot of these types of therapeutic boarding schools that have had students enroll in their schools. So we had a meeting with them and just trying to get prepared for this. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be opened up, and they're going to have students in there and they'll want to enroll those students. So these are some of the questions that we've been addressing. Are the students residents? They're technically not residents because this is not where their parents reside. Do they pay tuition? In some districts, they do. If they're out of country students, with Turning Winds does take some out of country students, they would have to pay a higher amount of tuition possibly. Some questions from community members, I'm sure, would be, would there be discipline issues? These are students coming from different parts of the country that do come there specifically for disciplinary reasons. And what we would do is, this last point down here, create an MOU so we can have full and open communication with Turning Winds. Most districts that have therapeutic boarding school students don't have the disciplinary issues because the boarding schools don't enroll their students in a public school until they're ready to be in a public school. And if they do have problems, they have the leverage to be able to take them out and put them in a different type of their facility that they have. The taxes could increase. I mean, that's something we'd have to be open with the public about, depending on how many students we have. One thing with adding students is there have been some positive things with students coming in from all over the country, having different ideas and thoughts, just adding a little bit diversity to the school district. And then one thing also that was mentioned is sometimes you get some athletes that can really change up a team. Basketball or football are some of the biggest areas that have been affected. Quick report on speech therapy. We encouraged Nicole Garrison a couple of years ago to go back and get her degree. She's working towards a master's degree in speech language pathology. She's just finished her bachelor's degree, and we're recommending that she be hired on as a speech aide in the certified agreement. And so we will still need a full speech language pathologist, as Nicole is still working through her master's degree, getting the hours that she needs to do. And we're talking with the hospital actually in providing those hours, those supervision hours that she needs. A quick update on engineering. We're still working with Johnson Controls on the HVAC engineering, and we're working with another engineering firm for our high school sidewalks in the front of the high school and that retaining wall. The retaining wall is leaning, so we're trying to get some engineering and making a plan to get that done in the next few summers. You can look at our 10-year plan here, our grants that we're working on. We've submitted a gifted and talented grant for both the high school and elementary. We're also submitting a grant. It's called the Stronger Connections Grant. And so this can provide therapeutic services for students, which would really help in supplementing what we're providing for some of our therapists now. Just a reminder that we do have a board meeting on April 25th. This is going to be led by the School Board Association by Deborah Silk. And this is going to be the listening session in relation to the 4-day school week. I'm assuming this is going to take place no matter what. However, perhaps if we get survey results back that show one way or the other, the School Board Association that's leading this decision-making process could say we might not need it or go a different direction. But this is what we have tentatively scheduled, and Deborah's going to be here at that point. July 27th, Elizabeth Kalava is going to be doing some board training, so make sure you have that on your calendar during that warm month. And then we have some other training if board members are interested in May for newly elected trustees, and you can go through and read all these other great resources that are out there. So back to the agenda. We also have a counselor's presentation. Cody Pallister is going to be presenting for us for a few minutes. We have a few different people to recommend. We have Amy Henderson as a high school counselor. We feel like she'd be a great fit for our district. We had a few board members also part of that interview. She's also a licensed counselor, or is working towards her licensure to be a therapist. Nicole Garrison, I just mentioned her as a licensed speech aide. Justin Young is the head high school football coach. We have some second reading of these 3 policies that we presented last time. We have 2 new policies that we recommend. The first one is a fragrance-free school. This would curtail air fresheners and things like that. We had some issues with staff members, students, and parents in regards to this. So this is a common policy. In the community use of facilities, this policy would give the building use, if we want to have some programs or activities that take place on Sunday, this would give the superintendent the ability to do that in unusual circumstances. And then we are going to recommend that we terminate the 1900 series, the policies that are related to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so that time frame has lapsed. All districts are looking at terminating these in April, May, or June. We have a recommendation for expanding the metal shop. We shared some of these pictures last time. You can go through this folder if you want to and look at some of the additions that we're recommending on. It's going to be an open bay, so we can utilize that for blacksmithing. We have a safety funds resolution. So this is a resolution that's posted for the community to see. We're recommending to transfer up to $30,000 from bus depreciation, so we can use that in our safety fund, which we utilize that in many, many different areas. And then we're recommending a MOU with the certified staff for summer school pay. We've done stipends before, we've done hourly rates. We want to kind of nail this down to be about $40 an hour. Summer school is going to be for 2 weeks, 4 days a week for 3 hours a day. The next is a cooperative sponsorship for sports with Libby. This is something we do every 3 years for boys soccer, girls soccer, and wrestling. It just makes sure that we have that agreement between Libby and Troy in place with the high school association. We have a couple different things that we want to discuss in the work session in the forum. We want to talk about student behaviors. These are items that actually have been on the work session for a couple months, and we're just trying to get to them. It seems like the board meetings go too long and we are not able to get to them, but behaviors, bus routes, our strategic plan, our motto, mission, and belief statements are all parts of the work session. And then the last thing is we're recommending the hiring of Michaela Newton as a district custodian, and we may have to go into executive session to talk about her situation and in how it relates to our district policy. So if you have any questions, please let me know. One thing as we talk about hiring, I should have mentioned this about Amy Henderson. We are going to recommend that if we do hire her, not just specifically for her position, but for counselors and therapists, is we're spending a lot of money on counseling and therapy, which is necessary. But as we do that next year, the board will have to more than likely transfer some money from bus depreciation into the safety funds, just like we have in this resolution down here. We'll have to do that to help supplement Amy's pay and some of our therapists' pay in order to make things work. So that's the flexibility that we'll have to do in order to make things work financially. So as always, if you have any questions about anything on the agenda or if I can help out in any way, please let me know. And thank you so much.